What's up, Vindicators? This is Xenoxis, and this is the Xenoxis show for the 11th of March 2017. Continuing where we left off, going over the Bruiser Dude, which is my Druid deck that I came up with, which is a bit of a mix of Jade and a bit of some what I consider to be some pretty decent card from Gaditsan. So yeah, so we went over the Savage Roar, and next is a 4 drops here. We have 2 Ocean Healers. Sadly, I'm thinking about replacing the Ocean Healers because getting the full value out of it is really hard. There was one match where for example, one match I had where I didn't even get to heal with the Ocean Healer, because actually getting the opportunity to heal with the Ocean Healer on your Jade Golems, that's what you want to be using the Ocean Healer on your Jade Golems once they're big enough. But even once they're big enough, like, opponents will usually always be able to clear your Golems. And when you get to the point where your Golems just makes you win, then you won't even need to heal them. So yeah, or sometimes Ocean Heal doesn't get well, because the stat line is pretty bad with 2-6. It's only 8 words of stats, 6, 7, 8 basically. And if you think about Hired Gun, which is only 3 mana, that is 7 worth of stats with 1 less mana cost. Yeah, so the Ocean Healer, the stat line is not good. But restoring a miniature full that is of course really useful. Like, if your opponent trades in effectively, they don't kill off your Jade Golem. Like, let's say you have an 8-8 or a 9-9 Jade Golem. They trade into 2 dudes into your Jade Golem, they leave your Jade Golem with 1 health, you know, and then they're like, yeah, now I can kill his Jade Golem next turn, and then you're like, nope, Ocean Healer, boom, up to full health again, and then the enemy is like, or then like if your old school Rex are, well played, well played, well played. You know, it's pretty funny when they nerfed, you know, they're sorry about that, like sorry that happened, because that made too many players too salty, because they consider saying you're sorry, you know, being an insult. So instead they made it like astounding. You know, I hunt alone. Astounding. Greetings, traveler. Will you help me, baby? Anyway, next up is another forecast here, which is the 2 times a Jade Spirit. Battlecry on a Jade Golem. Stat line is not really that good. 2-3. But some of the Jade Golem, which really means like, sometimes when I play the Jade Spirit, like the Jade Spirit, the first Jade Spirit I played, sometimes have been able to like summon like a 5-5, and then it's basically like 5-5 plus 3-2 words of stats. So then it's like 6. So then it's like 7 attacks. 8 health? Yeah. 7 attacks, 8 health worth of stats for 4 mana. That's pretty crazy to see. Like, the Jade Spirits can be insanely good depending on how many all they all placed. You know, and when you get really lucky those times, you know, when you've been able to play a lot of Jade Idols, you know, when your Jade Spirit summons a 5-5 Jade Golem, and then your next Jade Spirit summons like a 6-6 Jade Golem, then you're looking really good. And that's totally possible with Jade Idols. Especially sometimes you can get really lucky. Sometimes you can do a shuffle early and then get your things you shuffled in really, really early. It has a pretty low chance of happening. I don't know exactly what the percentage is, but if it happens, like you almost automatically win when that happens, you know. Like, I mean, RNG stone, you know. Sometimes luck is on your side, and when luck is on your side, you just win. Basically, pretty much, you know. Which is really good. 2 times swipe. Swipe is something I don't think any dude ever takes out swipe, you know. Imagine if at some point, I never think they are actually gonna ever like remove basic cards. Like, it makes sense the cards they are removing, like they are removing Sylvanas, they're removing Ragnar's from being standard cards, you know, and moving them into Hall of Fame, you know. And you get all the dust back, like, from what they're worth, you know. And then if you have two of a certain thing, then you get the full value of 2. Like, I think it's not is it just the full disenchant value? because the distance value is not the same as the crafting value. But yeah. Anyway, so those are the 2 swipes. Everyone knows what snipe do. I don't need to go over that. Then we have 2 doppelgangsters. Here's the thing. So we don't really have any cards that buff in the deck. So you might wonder then why run doppelgangster. The doppelgangster is still, if you think about their stat line, summon 2 copies of the money minion. It's 5 mana. It's almost a 2/2. But really it's a 6/6 that you summon basically for 5 mana. Which is pretty decent, to be honest, even though I believe, let me check here, it's a 6 mana, right, because I believe there is a basic card that's better than it, like, stat line wise, which is the Ogre, right? What's it called again? I forgot. Where is the Ogre bastard? Don't I have that Ogre? Yeah, these are stunning cards, so like what? No, Boulder Fist Ogre. Yeah, Boulder Fist Ogre is a 6/7 for 6. So it's only 1 stat worse. The Doppelgangster is than the Boulder Fist Ogre. But the Doppelgangster is still better. Because there are several bodies. It's not just one body. And that also means that your Doppelgangster can eat up AoE effects. Like Paladins are pretty common to spend their consecration just to get rid of your doppelgangsters. That's pretty common that they do. And your stat value you can get from doppelgangster, like forcing your opponent to use an AoE just to get rid of them, is really good. Of course, the worst thing is if you use them against a shaman and the shaman has a spell totem out, then they can use Maelstrom Portal and get rid of it in a really cheap way, and stuff that, so you have to watch out for that, It's not always right to play doppelgangster. You always have to think about when you play something, Because, but also sometimes you have to think about it, for example, like, let's say you go up against a mage, for example, they can 5-blast something for 1 damage. The thing is, sometimes you might be, I don't want to play this 1 health minion because it's gonna die immediately after the mage 5-blast. But here's the thing, right? Let's say like you start with your thing first, they have the coin, but you go first, of course, because the other player gets the coin, not the one who goes first, but yeah, right, yeah. So you play your whatever you play a 1 health minion. I mean, the pirate guy was nerfed, Small Time Buccaneer was nerfed to 1 health. So let's say you play Small Time Buccaneer. That's your first play, right? It might be, but I don't want to play it against the mage. The mage is just going to 5-blast it. Now it's the mage's turn. The mage has a bunch of 2-drops, for example. And they have the coin, so they can coin something out. But instead of coining out the 2-drop, they want to get rid of your Small Time Buccaneer right away. So then they decide, coin, 5-blast. They deal with your board, but they didn't play their 2-drop. So you're ahead of them. You're dictating the pace. So that's something to always think about. Like, sometimes it's worth playing something just to make the mage use up their Fire Blast. Instead of, like, imagine if you didn't. Okay, so let's say this scenario, right? You don't play your Small Time Buccaneer. You don't play anything first turn. The mage coins out a 2-drop. Now you're behind. Get it? Pretty simple, really, if you just think about it that way, but yeah. There's a lot of people who just you think, because this has 1 health, it just dies immediately to this, then it's not worth playing. But sometimes it is worth playing just to make the other thing is, because you will also sometimes see people play, for example, play Doomsayer at, is it 3 or 2 mana for Doomsayer? I think it's 2, right, for Doomsayer. Do I even have a Doomsayer? Yeah, I have 2 Doomsayers. So Doomsayer is a 2 mana 0/7 at the start of your turn, destroy all minions. And sometimes you might see someone playing it on an empty board. And for most people new at the game, or for most people that are like at the bad ranks, and people who don't understand the game, might wonder like why play Doomsayer on an empty board like the Doomsayer is an AoE clear. But the thing is, the Doomsayer prevents the opponent from playing cards for 1 turn. So then you can stall out, for example, if you're like a Jade Druid, like you can... A lot of Jade Druids actually run Doomsayers in their deck, because it can prevent the opponent from playing something. Because the thing is like... The thing is understanding what deck your opponent is playing. And then if you are like... If the opponent plays a meta deck, you know, a common meta deck, then you will know what cards they can have in that type of deck. Often, you know... There are some variances, of course, but people will mostly know, like, okay, that's a Jade Druid, so those are the cards it will use. Of course, my Druid doesn't use all the Jade Druid cards. He uses a lot of different cards that normal Jade Druid doesn't do. But for example, like, then if you know, okay, at this turn, this player will always be almost always playing this card if they have it, and then you can Doomsayer the previous turn, so that you prevent them from playing what they would normally play that turn, you know. Which is really, really good, you know. Which is really good, you know. And sometimes, you know, sometimes you can make Doomsayer also survive against a pretty big enemy board also as well, you know. So, yeah. So Doomsayer is kind of like a prevent aggro card kind of, you know, and stuff like that. But, yeah. Anyway, next up after the Doppelgangster is the 5 cards, which is 2 Lotus Agents. Statline is not really that great. It's a 5-3, which is 5, 6, 7, 8 worth of stats, which again is not that great. But a better cry is discover a Druid, Rogue, or Summon card. But it actually makes it pretty decent, because the thing is, like, there is a lot of good Druid cards, there's a lot of good Rogue cards, a lot of good Shaman cards. And the thing is, like, here's the thing that's really, really good with Lotus Agent is that the Druid has good Jade cards, the Shaman has good Jade card, and if you happen to get one of the Shaman's Jade cards, one of the Druid Jade cards, then Lotus Agents can be insane value. Like, let's say you play Lotus Agent, you manage to get Jade Spirit from it, you manage to get Jade Behemoth, or you manage to get Jade Idol from it, you know, it can be really good. I have like played, during one match I played like a Lotus Agent and I got the Jade Idol from it. And then I had already shuffled the previous Jade Idol, so I was able to like ramp up like to insane huge Jade Golems, you know, just because of that, you know. It makes it really good. Of course there are bad Druid cards, bad Rogue cards and bad Shaman cards, because it's just discover one other class cards, but usually it seems to have a higher chance to discover like the Jade cards and stuff that from those classes, you know, that always seems to be a higher percentage for some reason. I don't know exactly how the percentage based work, if it's dependent on the expansion and stuff that is current, you know. So maybe like during the next expansion, Lotus Agent will probably have a higher chance to discovering like Ungor created cards. Anyway, we'll be back with the final part here to round up the Bruiser Druid and then talk about a few more, a bit of World of Warcraft and stuff like that. So I'll be right back.